clock is still ticking as we wait to see if and how Congress will vote on the debt ceiling. Secretary Tim Geithner says we'll hit the limit in under 3 weeks and could start defaulting in July. But lawmakers seem as far apart on this issue as they are on everything else. Here with his take, Congressman Tom Price of Georgia, chairman of the House Republican Policy Committee. Welcome, Congressman. Great to see you.
Hey, Jerry. Thanks so much. Good to be with you again.
All right. Well, what do you think about this debt ceiling debate? Are we going to hit the deadline? Are we going to blow right through it? Is S&P going to be forced to come back and downgrade our debt?
Well, I hope not. The deadline, though, is kind of soft, isn't it? And so there's no hard, firm deadline. And that's one of the problems, I think, because you don't have a day when the money runs out. There's a lot of flexibility within the Treasury about whether they can prioritize the payments and the like. But the fact of the matter is we are going to hit the debt limit. And what we believe ought to occur is not a clean debt ceiling increase, which is what the president has demanded, but we think that's business as usual, and we don't think the American people want business as usual. So we need to make certain that we put in place real structural reforms that change the direction of the federal government so we don't end up spending and spending and spending and spending.
Well, and that's where that's really the substance of the debate, I think, is how much do you cut and where do you cut? And depending on who you talk to, the Republicans and the Democrats are either very far apart or neither of them have gone far enough. What is your view?
Well, I think we're pretty far apart right now because the president doesn't want anything attached to the debt ceiling increase. We believe that there need to be structural reforms. But because there's no hard and fast deadline, it'll take a while for folks to begin to get together. What we need to do, though, is to make certain that we've got some short-term reductions, significant reductions in spending, the medium-term kinds of structural changes, and then long-term things like a balanced budget amendment that will ensure that we don't end up in this boat again and that we don't continue this almost 100-year history now of increasing the debt, increasing the debt, and increasing the debt.
How many scores of times have we done that? And every time it happens, you see our debt go up right behind it. It just follows in lockstep. Yes. It happens over and over again. One of the things I was really surprised about, though, in the last couple of days, Speaker of the House John Boehner speaking about Paul Ryan's plan. I was shocked at what he had to say. Here it is. Paul Ryan has an idea that's certainly worth consideration. I'm for it. It's our idea. It's Paul Ryan's idea. Now, other people have other ideas. I'm not wedded necessarily to one single idea. A total like 360 turn on the issue. I thought the Republicans were all behind this.
Yeah, well, we are. In fact, we voted a couple of weeks ago in the House of Representatives, and only 4 Republicans didn't support the plan. So 235 members of the Republican conference voted for it. I think that's virtual unanimity in Washington. And we're for it because it decreases spending. It decreases taxes to revitalize the economy. It puts in place saving of the health and retirement security for seniors. It saves Medicare as opposed to what the other side wants to do is have it go broke. And it puts us on that path to paying off the debt.
Congressman, we've talked a lot about Ryan's plan, described it in detail, pretty much ad nauseum on this network. I thought Boehner was behind it. Now he's saying maybe not. Were you surprised by that?
Oh, I think what I heard is that he's for the Republican conference plan. This is the Republican conference plan. I don't know the specifics of what he said and whether or not there's any play there, but I don't think so. I think the Speaker is wholeheartedly behind a plan that decreases spending, decreases taxes, and saves Medicare and Social Security.
I have to ask you, since I have you on today, the President today releasing his full live certificate of birth. What did you think of that?
Well, I think the question that the American people are asking is what took you so long? But regardless of whether he releases that or other documents, what American people are concerned about is that his policies are driving us off a cliff, and they're destroying the economy. And jobs is what we need, and the only way to get jobs is to revitalize this economy. That means lower federal spending, government spending, means lower taxes, and it means making certain that there's greater certainty out there in the market with not the kind of oppressive regulation that's occurring right now.
Congressman, is this issue over now? Can we put this to bed? Can we say the birther debate, it's done, we're not going to talk about it anymore?
Oh, I don't know. There were all sorts of questions that were being asked about it. But again, I think the real question is whether or not we're going to embrace fundamental American principles that have made us the greatest country in the world from an economic standpoint.
Will Republicans put this issue behind them?
Well, this isn't a top issue for Republicans. It's been a top issue for many folks in the American across the country. But the real issue is jobs and spending, decreasing spending at the federal level and getting jobs back in line.
I couldn't agree with you more, I have to say. I'm concerned about government spending, too. Congressman Price, thanks for coming in. It is always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
Thanks, Gerri. Take care.
You as well.